Shohei Ohtani, Los Angeles Angels two-way player. I don't know if Ohtani is getting traded. You don't know if Ohtani is getting traded. Frankly, Angels general manager Perry Minasian doesn't know if Ohtani is getting traded. The Angels are 47-48, 5.5 games back of the last AL wild card spot. Fangraphs gives them only an 8.1% shot at making the playoffs. Mike Trout is hurt. Ohtani is on pace for 60 homers, 237 strikeouts, Cy Young votes, a runaway MVP triumph, history-twisting WAR numbers, and a very expensive partridge in a pear tree. Blake Snell, San Diego Padres starter. Marcus Stroman, Chicago Cubs starter. One theme you'll begin to notice is an extreme imbalance between seemingly available pitchers and available hitters. The lefty Snell, 2.71 ERA, and right-handed Stroman, 2.88 ERA. Both rank in the top 10 among starters in park-adjusted ERA. They have been two of the most successful pitchers in the big leagues this season, and it looks increasingly likely that they'll both find new homes for the stretch run. Cody Bellinger, Chicago Cubs outfielder. Speaking of the Cubs, barring a major surprise, Bellinger will be the best non-Ohtani hitter traded. On the surface, it looks like the change of scenery worked for the former Dodger. He's batting .305 with 12 homers and 12 steals and running a 137 OPS+. That would be by far his best since his 2019 NL MVP campaign. Stroman achieves his numbers in an extremely different fashion. Far fewer strikeouts, way more weak grounders, but is nonetheless posting one of the best seasons of his career. Josh Hader, San Diego Padres reliever. David Robertson, New York Mets reliever. Two teams that very much expected to be in the postseason this year are very much not in the picture right now. At least one will probably wind up trading away short-term pieces, which Hader and Robertson are, with each set to reach free agency at season's end. Max Scherzer, New York Mets starter. Dylan Cease, Chicago White Sox starter. It would count as a surprise if either of these starters moved, but there's a chance. The 38-year-old Scherzer has battled to retain effectiveness deep into games this season, consequently running a 3.99 ERA, or 98 ERA, meaning just barely better than average. That would be his worst in a full season since 2011. Still, he is Max Scherzer, and a better team might believe that he could find some of his old form if under less burden to go deep into games. The future Hall of Famer can opt out after 2023, but his performance makes that unlikely to be his decision. Cease, meanwhile, is under team control through 2025. He has limped to a mediocre 4.18 ERA after a dynamite 2022 campaign that saw him finish second in AL Cy Young voting. He wields serious strikeout stuff and leads the majors in games started since 2020. Jordan Montgomery, St. Louis Cardinals starter. Lucas Giolito, Chicago White Sox starter. Eduardo Rodriguez, Detroit Tigers starter. Seth Lugo, San Diego Padres starter. Jack Flaherty, St. Louis Cardinals starter. More realistically, this group will stand as the second tier of starting pitching available. All of them can hit free agency after the season. Montgomery and Giolito, bright spots on crumbling teams, represent the steadiest options. Montgomery, the 30-year-old lefty, has a 1.48 ERA since the start of June. Giolito seems to have lost some of the juice that once made his fastball changeup combo so deadly, but he has compensated more noticeably this season with a solid slider and reclaimed 2021 level results. Then again, he gave up 5 runs in the first inning Tuesday against the Mets. Rodriguez, who can opt out of his deal after 2023, started the season looking like the deadline's top arm but missed a month due to injury and hasn't fully found his footing since returning. A couple of hot starts could significantly boost his stock. Lane Thomas, Washington Nationals outfielder. Jeimer Candelario, Washington Nationals third baseman. Tommy Pham, New York Mets outfielder. Elias Diaz, Colorado Rockies catcher. C.J. Cron, Colorado Rockies first baseman. If you want to make a case for a hitter other than Bellinger being the best non-Ohtani option available, you will probably be making a case for a Nationals player. Thomas, who was once stuck in a similar Cardinals hitter backlog, has been a consistently above-average hitter since he found consistent playing time in Washington. Candelario, meanwhile, looks smart for taking a one-year deal to provide evidence that his down 2022 was a fluke. He won't knock your socks off with any one skill, but he consistently gets on base and plays very strong defense at third base. Paul DeJong, St. Louis Cardinals shortstop. Tyler O'Neill, St. Louis Cardinals outfielder. The list says DeJong and O'Neill, but we could easily file this under assorted Cardinals hitters. St. Louis has been juggling too many hitters, outfielders and positionless, bat-first types, especially, all season. DeJong, the 30-year-old shortstop and former Cardinals Devil Magic pop-up slugger, is experiencing a bounce-back season in his walk year after struggling so mightily in recent years that he spent parts of 2021 and 22 in the minors. He's mostly a homer or bust hitter, but he can play shortstop. Justin Lawrence, Colorado Rockies reliever. Scott Barlow, Kansas City Royals reliever. Jordan Hicks, St. Louis Cardinals reliever. Lawrence is the most intriguing of these arms and the least likely to go anywhere. He has discovered a diabolical sweeper en route to higher leverage opportunities and an impressive season, Coors Field or not. This being the Rockies, however, they seem predisposed to hang on to a pitcher finding this type of success in those environs.